Raiding is probably the most important activity in Pokémon GO. Regardless if you're trying to catch them all, battle in the Go Battle League, or you want to show off an epic collection, raiding legendaries and even some non-legendaries is absolutely essential for every aspect of this game. But simply jumping into raids without any sort of preparation could lead to you wasting raid passes, and overall just not getting what you want. Therefore, this video will serve as the be-all end-all guide for raiding in Pokémon GO. I'm going to talk about the 5 most important tips for raid battles that will help you be the most prepared. Regardless if you're a new player or an old player returning to the game, all the tips and tricks in this video will be crucial if you want to jump into raid battles. Right, so with all that said, let's roll the intro and get right into it. How's it going, everyone? It's me, it's Count, and in today's video, I'll be giving you all of the essential info on how to become a great raider in Pokémon GO. Keep in mind that everything that I will be talking about in this video is in regards to level 5 raids that typically give you legendaries. These are, of course, the most difficult raids in Pokémon GO, and require several trainers and a lot of effort to defeat. But they also reward you with the best Pokémon in the game. As I mentioned at the top of this video, you cannot ignore raids if you want to PvP, gym battle, complete your Pokedex, etc. Therefore, I really wanted to cap off my Essential Guide video series by giving a comprehensive guide on raid battles. I'm going to cover every aspect of raid battles that just about any player needs to be aware of, so yeah, if you end up enjoying this video and found it to be helpful, make sure you share this with your friends, as the more people who know this information, the better it will be for the community as a whole. Alright, so with all that said, let's jump right into it. The first tip of the day is going to be the most basic, but still one of the most important for raiding, and that is to join a community. Whether you join a Discord, Facebook group, or just find a group of friends to raid with, being part of a community of raiders will vastly open up your capacity to participate in raids. The good thing is, you don't even have to be a social person. In most communities, players will simply post when and where a raid is happening, and you just simply have to show up on time. Of course, because of the pandemic and in general, Pokémon GO being less community-based over the years, it's going to be difficult nowadays to find a community that is active with in-person raiding. However, ever since Niantic released remote raid passes into Pokémon GO, there are plenty of communities specifically geared around sending raid invites all around the world. Thus, if you still want to raid actively while not leaving your home, there's plenty of different options available to you. Now, in order to find these groups, you could do a search on social media, Reddit, and even amongst any player you happen to know. Among all of the different communities that I am a part of, pretty much all of them I joined through word of mouth, or through someone I ran into while jumping into a raid that was near me. All you may simply need to do is go to a raid nearby, see if there's a group of people there, and ask them if they are part of a Discord group or a Facebook group that you can join. Offer to help out with raids as often as you can, and more likely than not, they will welcome you with open arms. So now that you joined up with a community, you must now give yourself probably one of the best advantages you can have when jumping into raid battles. This leads me to my second tip for raiding, and that is to level up friendship with your raid mates as much as possible. As you raid with your community, there will undoubtedly be a handful of players you will always see at raids. These particular players should always be on your friends list for the simple reason that you are actively playing with them the most, and you could be utilizing friendship bonuses with them. These friendship bonuses could be the difference maker between whether or not you can defeat a certain raid boss. Considering that you can get boosts to your Pokemon's damage with the various levels of friendship between players, it's vitally important that you are consistently raiding with your best friends and ultra friends. As long as you are continuously leveling up your friendship with people you raid with, you will continue to see your raid battles get easier and easier, and eventually you may be able to duo and trio raids consistently as well. Make sure you are opening and sending gifts to your raid mates every day. The sooner you hit best friends with them, the better it will be for your raid group. Seriously, I cannot overstate how much of an impact best friend bonuses can have on a raid battle. especially if your raid group is small. So now that you joined a community and hit best friends with several players in your group, you must now take probably the most important step to being a good raider, and that is to do research on the top counters and max out whatever ones you have. It's a common mistake that I see even with veteran players. You spend your Stardust and rare candies on the wrong Pokemon, or the Pokemon that is not the most ideal against a raid boss, and then you jump into a raid battle and not deal enough damage to take it down. This is not only going to make you a poor raider, but it will cause you to lose plenty of raid passes as well. Now of course, if you are running a full lobby, then maxing out the ideal counters won't always be necessary, but having a team of the best Pokemon to use for just about every raid boss will allow you to do enough damage to defeat the boss with one or two other trainers, which more often than not will be the case. Before you max out a Pokemon, make sure you do a little research and see if it is even worth powering up. For example, at the time that I recorded this video, Snivy was the most recent community day that we had. Now sure, as a grass type attacker, it may be considered decent, but Superior is actually nowhere close to being a top tier grass type attacker compared to several others, such as Tangrowth, Roserade, or Sceptile. If you're going to go against a raid boss that is weak against grass types, you'll want to go with any of the aforementioned Pokemon rather than whatever the flavor of the month Pokemon is. Rather than powering up those Hundo Superiors that you just picked up from Community Day, you should instead spend that Stardust on any good Roserades or Tangrowth that you already have. This is what you should do for pretty much every type in Pokemon GO. Doing a simple Google search or going to PokeBattler.com will give you all of the best raid attacker Pokemon by type that you should max out first. Now of course, in some rare cases, you might not have any of those most ideal top tier raid attackers in your collection. Maybe the whole reason why you are raiding in the first place is to get those top tier Pokemon. Well, in this instance, then yes, I would suggest powering up whatever you have that is the best out of your collection. But again, do some research on what the top Pokemon are, because chances are you will still have a top 3 attacker of a particular type already in your collection. Bonus tip! Real quick, when it comes to catching legendary Pokemon, make sure you are using the set circle trick. It will allow you to catch every legendary near guaranteed. If you want to know more about this trick and how to do it, check out the link in the description below, or click on the card at the top right of this video. Seriously, what's the point of doing these raids if you can't even catch the Pokemon you are raiding? If you are having problems catching legendaries, then the set circle trick is the answer you're looking for. Okay, so now that you have your team set, it's time to actually go to your raid battles with your crew. This leads me to the fourth important tip that quite often gets overlooked, but make sure you observe proper raid etiquette while you are raiding. Remember, raiding is a community effort, and regardless if you are rolling with a group or jumping in with another, you will want to make sure you are being considerate and helping others as much as you want them to help you. If there is a designated raid start timer, make sure you are showing up early so you do not hold the raid group. My rule of thumb is that you will want to show up at least 5 minutes earlier than the start time. That way, the group can begin the lobby right at the designated time, or even started earlier if everyone shows up early. You really don't want to be that person who consistently shows up a minute or two late to every raid, causing everyone to have to back out and start a new lobby. Remember, raids can be time consuming and you want to respect everyone's time. Now I do recognize that anything can happen that would cause you to be late to a raid, whether it be unexpected traffic, an errand that took longer than usual, or just in general you didn't account for enough time to get there. In these instances, just be courteous as much as you can to your raid group. Communicate with them that you are running a few minutes late, or just simply tell them you will join them at the next raid. As long as the group knows your situation, it will make things much easier for the group as a whole. So all of this leads me to the final tip, and probably the most crucial of all when it comes to doing raids. This may seem trivial, but it is without a doubt my most important tip for raiding, and that is to familiarize yourself with your neighborhood. One of the most important things players neglect to do when joining a community or beginning their raid grinds is to familiarize yourself with gyms in your area, or in areas where you frequently raid. Not only will this prevent you from holding up your raid groups when going to raids, but will also allow you to be safe when you are out and about raiding. It's an unfortunate truth that not every gym is going to be easily accessible or safe for you to be at. Sometimes, gyms will require you to park in very specific areas or require a specific path or street for you to get there. If you are joining a raid group who is already aware of these sort of roadblocks, then it's important that you either spend some time outside of raids to scout out these areas that frequently get raided, or you simply ask your community where these locations are. If you do not know how to get to a certain gym, sometimes a fellow raider will be able to help. Asking for coordinates or an address is simply all it takes. Also, make sure you ask these sort of questions early on when you join a raid group or a community, because most raiders will know you are new to the group and will need help finding your way around. But let's say you are not the sociable type and you don't really want to ask your community members where gyms are located with every single raid. Well, one really practical way to learn the locations of every gym in your neighborhood is to be as active as possible with gym battles. If you are branching out of your own home gyms and battling and taking over gyms all around the neighborhood, you will eventually be able to locate exactly where every gym is. This will allow you to easily navigate to every gym where raids are being held, and it will allow you to not only impress your raid mates, but not be a burden to them as well. One more bonus tip. If you want some solid Pokemon to use in raids, consider investing into Shadow Pokemon. Yes, the startup cost to max them out will be extremely high, but most Shadow Pokemon will deal a ton of damage compared to non-Shadow. It's a really good idea to have a few of them ready to use. So yeah, there you have it. These were my top 5 most important tips for raiding in Pokemon Go. But I'm sure that most of you are veteran raiders, and you have important tips that you commonly share to newer players all the time. So if I missed any of your tips, make sure you share them down below. Also, let me know if any of these tips helped you as a raider. I would love to know. And yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it to be helpful. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and do consider joining me on Patreon. I'm opening up my friends list to my patrons, so if you want to raid with me remotely, then go and check it out. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, and yeah. My name is Count Jinsula, be safe, have fun, and I'll catch you all later.